Welcome, everyone. This is Pat Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at releases in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week, I'm joined by Krister,
Hello.
Cinders,
Hello. Oh, you've got to be
Begins
kidding me.
again.
I didn't even mute.
Someday it is going to work, but this is not the day.
Sigh.
And Sanswinda.
Hello, everybody.
Everyone, and ready for another episode where we are going to be looking at what happened over at Standing Stone Games this week in relation to the Lord of the Rings Online. And let us begin with our latest update 49.3, which was released on August 12th, 2026. This is patch number 3 for In Good Company. For missions and delvings, a change in Update 49 erroneously increased the stats on most mission monsters. This has been corrected, and mission monster stats should return to their pre-U49 values. Oh yes, I actually wanted to run some missions this week to test that out, and I did not get an opportunity. So I am going to have to put that on my list for next week, because my champion was being punched in the nose with running missions the last couple of weeks. So
How rude.
yeah, how rude indeed. So it would be nice to find out whether or not I could actually do them without getting a bloody nose. As for PvP, Captain's Armor of Noble Hands now requires you to be specialized in the Hands of Healing to receive this 4-set bonus. PvP settings of the Eagle now deal bonus damage only on devastating hits rather than on any critical hit. Winter Seb Drakelings found in the Ice and Deep Mine have learned to hunt correctly and have grown to their intended size. Several major neutral bosses in the Entmoors are now immune to force taunts. The Wood Troll Garth and the two salamanders in Hurlug and Nurlog now respawn more frequently. Or the Sorceress. Elemental Mastery 1 traits no longer suggest that they will allow synergy skills to tier up synergy effects. And Ignite Synergy now interacts correctly with synergy skills and the tier up bonus from the Fire Mastery 1 trait. Adjusted the Dwarf Miner during the Fall of Moria so that he will animate properly again. And adjusted invisible walls during the Moot so Treebeard won't rubber band at certain locations. He's being very, very unhasty because he can't. He rubber bands in a very unhasty way. We'll put it that way, right?
Slow motion rubber banding. Or Treebeard.
All right. And that's it for the release notes for update 49.3. So it's not a very large patch this week.
Wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Bad at all.
So what else has happened? Of course, there's also the release of the Farmers Fair for this year. So we have the Farmers Fair. It's currently active and it'll remain open until, or I should say through, September 7th. And we have a link in the show notes to the Farmers Fair guide that we have in here, and showing various activities and describing what the rewards are available for, what we have available for Farmers Fair tokens, and of course available for Mithril, and showing them various things off, like a backpack and a goat and a cow.
I really like the cow with the hat.
Yeah. All right. Yes. You want to make sure that the cow doesn't get sunburned or something?
I think the cow is just holding your hat.
Well, I suppose that's possible. Yes, your cow is now a hat rack.
I mean, it is one way
Did
to
you want
keep
your?
the horns covered.
Yeah, I guess so. Also
You know,
this week.
so you know
What?
what would make it better?
What?
Hot pink flowers. Shire plum flowers.
Dire plum flowers.
Mm-hmm. And a ribbon.
You said that would make it better, though.
It would. It would make it so much better.
Well. All right. So your request then is that they add a pink ribbon or Shire plum ribbon
Yep.
to the hat.
Yep. And flowers.
Oh, and of course some cute flowers to go with it.
Yes.
All right. I guess maybe next year they'll have the hat of M.
See, there's a reason nobody ever consults me for the design choices, but I know exactly what it would look like.
Everything would be hot pink.
No. Okay, so I have this straw hat, and it's a nice sun hat, right? And then I went to a fair a couple of years ago, and they had this. It's supposed to be like a fairy crown, right? But it's adjustable, and it had pink and white and yellow little flowers all over it with some greenery. And what I did that day, because I was trying not to get sunburnt, so I was wearing the sun hat, is that I put the crown around the brim of the hat, like around the crown of the hat, to cover the little rope band that was there. And then it had like the adjustable part was tulle. And so it made like this really pretty, like pink and white bow as well, like a big puffy bow, and then like drape down the back. That'd be really cool. They should totally do that for one of them.
Mm-hmm. I think everybody is happy that you're not a milliner.
I mean, I could be a very popular millennial. Have you seen some of those hats that people wear today, even?
I was gonna say, I said, having watched some clips from some fashion shows, I mean, Cinder's ideas are not entirely without merit.
Thank you, Krister. I appreciate that.
I've seen people dressed up like bicycles.
Yeah, apparently one of them actually like had their fashion show in like a cow pen, and they all had to walk through mud.
Mud in quotes.
Yeah. We can get back on track now.
Oh, we're allowed to be on track? All right.
Rare, but occasionally.
Yeah. This week, Scenario and Orion had their monthly We Have a Cave Troll episode. And this month they talked about the Wolves of Mordor. So this was the first little session they had, a little, I guess, teaser Q&A relating to the Wolves of Mordor, some ideas of what's going to be coming in with it, stuff like that. They're still in relatively early development on there, so there are a lot of details that they still were not able to share yet, but they did some general talk. Essentially, it's similar to the stuff that we already talked about last week in it. We do have a link to the forum post that includes a link to the YouTube video. Most likely, they will be starting to have actual previews of what we're going to be seeing in there at some point, most likely in September. Maybe October, but it looks like September is most likely when they're going to start having previews and little teasers about what is coming up for the next expansion. But I have a feeling it'll involve wolves.
kind of think it should involve some cows too.
Awesome cows too? Maybe. All right. Next we have is something that I was a little bit surprised when I saw this one come up, and that is the release timing for Angmar and Mordor's remaining updates. We are excited to share our plans for the rest of the Angmar and Mordor Legendary World experience with you today. All dates are tentative as they will coincide with updates of the game, so there could be minor timing adjustments. But we currently expect to update Angmar and Mordor to the Mordor and Northern Mirkwood level cap of 115 around September 9th. In other words, right after the Farmer's Fair ends. We currently expect to release Minas Morgul, War of Three Peaks, and The Blood of Azog around December 16th. We currently expect to release a level cap of 140 along with Gundabad and Before the Shadows King's Gondor around January 13th, 2027. This will be our final update to the Angmar and Mordor Legendary Worlds, and free transfers to these worlds will begin at that time and continue through March 30th, 2027. We will have more information about transfers early next year, but you can expect the transfer process to be similar to those transfers from the other Legendary Worlds in the past. I must admit that this one was a little bit unexpected. And I can only imagine that there is some sort of a contract that's ending on March 30th that is instigating
Yep.
this. because it, the times in which we have are very, very short, much shorter than I would have been expecting from what was going on in there. And right now, they do not currently have a time given for the cap going to level 120. So that means they were at least originally planning to go from 115 and then the next one after that. Right. And the next one after that was expected to be 130, meaning Minas Morgul, War of Three Peaks, and the Blood of Azog. But skipping the 121. It looks like a later message within the thread implies that that is being reconsidered because of feedback from the group. I guess they are going to decide what they're going to do on that. Because originally they're planning to skip 120 because of feedback they received. So they thought it would be best to skip 120. But now the feedback they get for skipping it, you know how it is. There's half the group wants you to do it one way and half the group wants you to do it the other way. So
can't make everyone happy.
you're not going to make everyone happy. So they're going to have to decide how best to do it. But it looks like that I think that March 30th date is coming from an outside entity, which means that I have a feeling that's not going to budge. But I could be wrong in that. But anyway, we're nearing the end for Angmar and Mordor, and what is really a surprise to me is that I was expecting at least one of those two servers to remain open afterwards. Simply because that's the only place where you have the ring raids challenge and all, and it's not like you could move the ring raid challenge to the main servers, because if they did that, I'd quit the game. so they can't be bringing it over to the main server, so I don't know what's going to happen to it, because I had expected one of the servers to remain open for that. So maybe it's not proving as popular as I was thinking it was or something. Does anyone have any more information on it than what I just read out here?
No, but yeah, I'm hoping it is exactly what you're thinking it is too. Is that it's just there's a beyond the game reason for this happening this way, and it's not going to happen anymore.
All right. Anyway, well, I guess one possibility is to have the raid stuff instance, but I don't think that'll really work for the random one. You know, it might work for the ring raids themselves, but for the lesser raids,
It'll be interesting to see what they do.
we'll see what they do. All right.
Maybe new legendary servers are coming later.
Well, that could be one of the things is that they could have ideas for a new legendary server and that they need the assets for that. These Angmar Mordor, were they? I'm trying to remember, Angmar Mordor, are they 32-bit or 64-bit servers?
I don't know. But that could be another possibility with
It's because I know that one of the legendary servers was the first
I think
64-bit
they might be 64-bit.
Yeah, because I thought they were the first 64-bit servers, in which case it's not that they're lagging behind technology-wise or anything like that. Yeah, I can't think of the reason for the situation. I'm sure we'll learn more as time progresses. But anyway, it'll soon be the end of the road if you are on one of those two servers. But of course, there will be free transfers off of. But if you're one of those people who really loves that ring rate thing, and the rays popping up and things like that, then it's possible. Then that is the thing that's going to be missed in the matter, because I cannot think of any way of bringing that to the live servers, or at least at this time, without disrupting the players that are on the main servers. And finally, for this week, the Lord of the Rings Online and Magic Online are celebrating together. That's right. They're celebrating together because The Hobbit is now on the Magic Online. Magic the Gathering, The Hobbit has arrived in Magic Online. Learn more about this exciting new addition to the game in an article on MTGO, which I guess is magicthegatheringonline.com. We have a special thank you for the Lord of the Rings Online players who want to check out the excitement of Magic Online. Download the game and set up a new account, then input the code LOTRO MTG 2026 inside the Magic Online store and get 2 free avatars, a collection upgrade kit, and several thousand cards, and a free account upgrade. Uh-huh. Okay, and one of the... All right, one of the avatars is Tom Bombadil, and the other one is... I'm not too sure who that... who that's supposed to be. Oh well. Magic Online players can download and play The Lord of the Rings Online for free. You can download the game client and set up your account at LOTRO.com. The Lord of the Rings Online X Magic the Gathering Online in LOTRO. To celebrate this fun crossover event, we are offering a special coupon code available to all players through August 31st, 2026. Use the coupon code LOTROMTG 2026 in the in-game LOTRO store to get your free gifts. The LOTRO MTG 2026 coupon code will grant you once per account Build the Pony Loyal Companion Decoration. This is a housing item that adds Build the Pony Property Guard to your homestead. Samwise's Portrait Frame, a frame around your avatar in the character portrait. Right-click on your portrait to select the custom character portrait. Writing skill. This allows you to write mounts in game. The in-game to your inventory is called trait writing. Aren't there already other ways of getting the writing skill already for free?
I
Yes.
think maybe, but if you haven't availed yourself of them yet, this could come in handy.
I guess so. And Universal Toolkit ×1, a toolkit usable by any crafting profession. So, therefore, and that is, of course, if you type in LOTRO MTGO 2026. Once you apply the coupon code in the redeem code section of the LOTRO store, log out of your character and log back in for the benefits to apply. The Universal Toolkit and Build a Pony decorations are both bound to account. Right, so that's a little nod by LOTRO to The Hobbit coming on to Magic Online, and I believe that this is being done because Daybreak Games is, operates both the Lord of the Rings online, and of course also does the publishing for Magic Online. So therefore, they're involved in both of them. And so I'm sure that Daybreak Games is the instigation for that particular event. And that's it for site news. So it is time for us to go to the store sales. Sans, what's on sale this week?
Well, I am so glad you asked, Pineleaf. This week, on sale, we have double bonus points are back. So you can get twice the bonus points in the LOTRO store through August 23rd. And you can stand out from the crowd with 30% off select shared wardrobe, select cosmetic outfit slots, mounted combat trait, and select cosmetics through August 20th. As always, with the cosmetic sales, double check where you can get the same appearance in game if you don't want to spend LOTRO points on it, because there's a good chance that it's available in game somewhere as well. And your weekly coupon is a free plus 10% run speed boost times 5 that lasts for 6 hours with the coupon code SWIFTSUMMER. And that's also good through August 20th.
Thank you. And that's it for the news this week. So let us head into our questions for new player questions. So, Sans, what is our question for this week?
Our question this week follows on from last week with talking about third-party programs for communication. So, what third-party programs tend to be used for communication? Should you expect your computer to be able to run them while running the game? Do they need to be downloaded, or do they work from a browser window? What equipment might you need to use them effectively? Do you find it important to have a microphone, headphones, or earbuds? What would you recommend for a new player not able or unsure about spending much money on talking to people in game?
All right. That's quite a number of questions all bunched into one. But
Indeed.
These days, the most common third-party tool that I know of for communicating is Discord. I think when this question was written, this question may have been before Discord existed. But
I believe it was because TeamSpeak, I think, is what I saw most common at the time.
Can I pipe in?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going back because I didn't start doing any of this till 2017. So at least in 2017, when Sans was helping me get all set up with this, she got me set up with Discord because that was what you guys were using with your Thursday night group with Maven and Terry and everybody. Right. And that's what she liked to use the best. But then when I went to join Ploy was always in TeamSpeak. And so I had to have TeamSpeak downloaded as well, specifically to do that. And then I think I only did like 2 or 3 raids with Ploy at that point. And then by the next time I went to play with Ploy and had asked about it, they were like, oh no, we're using Discord.
Yes. Yeah, so that was in the final days of TeamSpeak being a major player.
So, I say that's kind of what I recall from that.
I think the other thing that we were using for communication for a while was Skype.
Yes, Skype was a significant player for quite a long time. The
Yeah.
biggest thing that happened to Skype is that when they got bought by Microsoft, a lot of people were getting discontent of the changes that Microsoft made. In fact, Skype pretty much turned into Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, that's exactly. I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
as a
didn't realize
result,
that.
yeah, yes.
I just knew that Skype like fell out of the popularity and nobody wanted to use it anymore. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Right. That was because it was bought by Microsoft, and it was, of course, being. It took on a lot of changes over time as a result of that. And in fact, I think it was that incident, which is one of the things that instigated someone to create Discord.
Would make sense.
Well, that was a smart move.
Yeah. And back in that time, Discord was ni- was a nice, clean, simple system. Right now, I think Discord is a bit like.
Yeah,
I
Discord's
feel like
getting a
it's
bit.
bloatware.
Yeah.
Bloatware is what I think of Discord these days. But originally, Discord was a nice streamlined system that handles it. But now that they've got everybody and their brother on there, they have all these bells and whistles in there that I completely ignore.
Are you saying that you might be feeling some discord with Discord?
Uh, yeah.
And Discord has bled over in really random ways into other like into the gaming world. So, like the little Discord icon. Somebody put it into Animal Crossing New Horizons. And you could like get it for your like as a design on your outfits.
Oh boy.
That's pretty
Uh,
funny.
From the specialty shop there.
right. But in any case, what third-party programs tend to be used for communication these days? I would say it's Discord, and I'll be surprised if there are too many people who will insist on using something else because LOTRO itself has an official Discord. Just about every single game that's put out there uses Discord as their communication for it in there. And thus, I would say Discord is what's probably used if you want a third party one. So, should you expect your computer to be able to run them while running the game? If you're going to be using it for communicating during raids, instances, skirmishes, or while questing with other people, yeah, it's going to have to run
Yes,
at the same time.
your computer should be able to run both. Um, if for whatever reason you're still using a potato computer, you can get away with using Discord on your phone if you have to.
You can even use Discord to talk to people who are in game when you are not in game and you are driving down the road.
You know what, Stan? Some of us have no options but to use a potato powered computer. Don't knock a potato powered computer.
Potato powered computers can be really great. I'm just
I'm running
noting.
a 3 megatator server right now.
Okay, that would be a great kin name in LOTRO, though.
Okay,
What,
that would
Megatator?
be pretty epic.
Yeah, a megatator.
It feels like it's something from the future that comes back to the past to hunt something.
Um,
Megatator Terminator.
And once again, we are off track, guys.
Yes,
we are off track, but I think that would be pretty funny.
Yeah,
That's right.
so
You guys came down here with me in the impulse zone.
It is
But in
one
any
of the
case-
most fun places to be. I'm not gonna lie.
and just as a note for it, because we use Discord to communicate within LOTRO, we use Discord to record this podcast and speak.
That is true.
That is true.
It's true. So we use it for quite a number of things. And yes, we do normally expect it to be able to run the game and Discord at the same time. And so unless
And I
we,
believe
for
you
some
can
reason,
run Discord through your browser window if you don't want to download it, but I'm not
Oh, yes,
sure
you
why you would
can.
do that.
You can run it on your browser window. Yes, it is possible, so that instead of having a special app for Discord, you could also run Discord through your browser. Why? I would say that if you want to, if you can't have all that stuff, you don't have room in disk space in order to have Discord installed,
That could be a real problem, yeah.
you may do it for that reason.
I feel like Discord's relatively lightweight, but
I don't mean I noticed that when I power up my system, or at least it was back before I got the new computer in there, the single app that would take longest in order to load whenever I rebooted my system was Discord.
yeah, I made it stop turning it on automatically because it was definitely causing some problems with startup.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I do have a problem. My computer will occasionally, well, I shouldn't say occasionally, it will often have problems running Discord and LOTRO specifically simultaneously. Meaning that if I start in Discord and then I open LOTRO, everything is fine. But if I try to alt tab out of LOTRO to do anything anywhere else on my computer, whether it's Discord or not, it crashes. So,
Are you running full screen or windowed full screen?
full screen.
Windowed full screen might help fix that.
And I'm just saying that's the only issue I run into is if I try to alt tab out of the game into anything else. It's usually alt tabbing into Discord. And sometimes you have to have Discord open before you get into anything else in order for the game to play through correctly. Stardew Valley will have some problems with that specifically. Making sure everything else is connected and everything before you open the game.
Right. So that seems to be the biggest problem you have then is you have to use some Discord sometimes gets funny about what it connects and things like that. I know some people complain every once in a while that Discord seems to be choosing the wrong device or something like that. I don't generally have that type of problem, but some people have been known to have problems where Discord seems to decide that it wants to connect to a completely different device, communication device, than that you're currently using in there. Now, if you're asking some of these questions that are being asked here, I would say the person is unlikely to have a large number of communication devices connected to them, so it might not be a problem.
Fair.
Yes. All right, so see, I guess that next question is, do they need to be downloaded or do they work from a browser window? I think we sort of answered that you could do it either way.
Yeah.
What equipment might you need to use them effectively? Well, it's nice to have a headset with a microphone.
Headset with a microphone has been my go-to since
And
shortly
push
after
to
asking
talk.
this question.
Yes.
Set it to push to talk. No one wants to hear you breathing. No one wants to hear you chewing your food. No one wants to hear the television show that you're listening to in the background.
And most especially, no one wants to hear the echo of their own voice popping through your microphone when you respond.
I am the worst offender with this. I am sorry to all of you. I
Apology not accepted.
hate push to talk with a passion because I spend enough of my time talking that it seems pointless to have push to talk going. Because clearly I would just be sitting there holding the button.
Well, for me, it's the thought of embarrassing myself. It'd be like, why would you want to leave your mic open if you do something or say something stupid, and then you realize that you're online? I've seen some pretty infamous situations arise from that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'd rather just be mute.
But also, like, most of the time I'm playing with you guys, and you have a pretty good. I mean, Sans has seen all of my mess ups for the last several decades, right? Like, and also I really am one of those people who's like, yeah, get what you get. But I do try to, like, not crunch food if I'm eating something, like if it's chips or whatever. I'll try to not crunch those in you guys' ears. But I don't use
Yes,
push
We
to
do
talk.
appreciate.
Yeah, I do not use push to talk at all. I think I've tried it once or twice, but my fingers will just get tied up in attempting to do that. So if I need to go between open mic, turning on and off in there, I have a mute button to turn this thing off and turn back on. And in fact, it's connected to the microphone, not connected, not one of the keys on the keyboard.
And I do have that. So, like, if I needed a bio break or something, or just wanted to get up and walk around, I'll just mute the headset itself, rather than using push to talk. Which is actually how I handle eating crunchy foods too. When I think about it, just mute that. The downside to that, though, is that you sometimes you start talking and have whole conversations with yourself and get no response, and then you get really like, nobody's listening to me, and then you're like, oh, I'm muted. Oops.
We're still is when it sounds like they're talking to you, but they haven't heard a
That's
thing
what I
that
was
you've
going to say.
said.
Sometimes it's even worse when somehow their random babbling coincides with what you're saying.
Right. Well,
What do you mean I just killed my grandma?
There have been times where they'll be having, like, planning what they're going to do next, and I'll be, like, adding in my 2 cents and what I think and what we should be doing. And I'm like, nobody is listening. Why aren't they listening? And then, oh, right, I'm muted. They can't hear a word I'm saying. So, that is the drawback to that.
Right. What equipment might you need to use them effectively? I would say, okay, I think we've already said that. Yes. Do you find it important to have a microphone?
Yes.
If you want to be, unless you want to type in everything inside the chat thing and expect people to be looking at the chat thing in order to respond to it, you pretty much want to have a mic.
Well, okay, so I agree with you guys, but I would say at the bare minimum, just the fact that you have a headset that you can listen would be a big deal, because you don't necessarily have to contribute, especially if you're like doing a raid or something.
Yeah.
But the ability for you to actually get into the voice channel and listen to them is more important than you talking, basically. So at the very least, you can you have either your speakers, and I think it's just to taste too, because for a long time I didn't want to wear a headset, so I had one of those blue snowball microphones on my desk, and then earbuds, and that was perfect. But I think it's just really your preference. You could either just have it through speakers and a microphone, or a full headset, whatever you feel more comfortable with. But at the very least, if you're going to be rating or grouping, to have that ability just to hear is very important.
Yep. And I do spend most of my time muted in raids unless I'm tanking, in which case I need to actually communicate. But if I'm not tanking...
Well, I'm glad you've realized that this is all directed at you, Cinders. We're basically saying, Cinders, put yourself on mute.
Good luck with that. People have been trying to mute me for decades. It doesn't work. Yeah. No, I'm just chipping in. I'm actually paying attention, sort of.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well,
is
I
that
feel it's kind of funny how you're like taking this, like, listen, you guys, I do this and this. We know,
I
Cindy.
know. I'm
Why
just
are you getting
owning
so
up.
defensive about it,
Well,
though?
I'm not offended and I'm not upset. I'm just owning up to the fact that, like, you can still have friends who don't care. Or if they do care, they'll tolerate it and not make a big deal
Exactly.
out of it.
I think most people just
Um,
tolerate it, can tolerate it, So.
and honestly, when it comes down to it, if somebody's doing something that bothers you, as long as you're like, "Hey, that bothers me. Do you mind turning it off?" They're usually pretty responsive. Like, because most people aren't out to irritate other people.
Right. Well, like for Pine Leaf said today something I was kind of surprised at, which was he doesn't use push to talk because I don't hear a peep from him unless he's talking. You know what I mean? I don't hear
Yeah.
anything extraneous. So whatever you did to set up your not push to talk, Pine Leaf, is how I wish every person who doesn't use push to talk, set up their microphones.
Yes. Um, and people who hang out with me know that you and my son too. Neither one of us really enjoys push to talk because we both have a lot to say. So pretty much whoever's on the other end of Discord hears the other person's conversation too. So
Well, okay, I'm just going to put as a fellow blabbermouth. Now, my qualifications are I had the gift of gab when I was born into the family I was born into, and then I went to Ireland, where I got the double gift of gab. So now I'm double gapped. So, having said that, you can still talk on and on and on and on and on. You just are muted.
I know it's just so much more fun though when other people can hear you talk.
Admittedly, yeah. But that's the part where you can use your imagination.
Yeah. Still not changing. Sorry.
all right? Next on the list is headphones slash earbuds. Yes, I think those are rather important because the alternative to having headphones or earbuds is to be playing with speakers, and when you have speakers, you hear you hear a lot of echoes coming in because when you wear earbuds or a headset, anything you're hearing that's coming through to you is not going through and being sent to everybody else. I know that at least one person in every group I'm in is using speakers, and whenever that happens, I hear everything twice that's going on in the game. I hear what's happening on my side, plus I hear it again on whichever person has is using speakers in there. So I'm hearing, like for example, you start a skirmish, and when Galadriel gives her spiel at the beginning of the skirmish, you hear her twice.
You
So I'm
hear it,
hearing here the echo of
and
Galadriel
then
going
you hear it
through.
on the delay. Yep.
Yes. Yes. So I guess you can see whose icon turning on turning on off is like, all right, who's using speakers but not using push to talk? So yeah, if you use speakers, at least try to use push to talk. And that or some other mechanism to mute your set because that's all. Otherwise, whatever's coming in your microphone is going to be heard by every single. And not, yeah, I mean, whatever is coming out through your speakers will be heard by every single person you're playing with. And do you really want that?
The answer is no, because you want them to keep playing with you.
Yeah,
Right.
And also, what is it that, oh, okay, you wanted to listen to a YouTube video? Wow. uh, while you're running your instance? Do you really want everybody to be hearing whatever YouTube video you're running?
Probably not.
I would imagine
Yeah.
the answer universally would be no.
Yeah. What would you recommend for a new player not able or unsure about spending much money or talking to people in game? Well,
You get
fortunately,
headphones for $10.
And depending on
yeah,
Unfortunately, Pine
phone,
Leaf.
your phone might have come with headphones with a microphone built in already.
right, then yeah, you could use Discord on your phone instead of on an app on there, which for some people's setup might be necessary.
Or I mean, even with a like, so I have a set of headphones that came with my iPhone. And yeah, it had the funky it had the funky plug, but then I mean, you just get the adapter that you need to be able to plug into your stereo system anyways, right? So you have the adapter, the dongle, and you just plug it in there and you've got your headphones with a microphone built in already, and you don't have to spend any extra money. It came with something you already purchased. Just
A
saying.
lot of the cheap headphones that you can buy now at the store also come with a microphone built in.
Yep. And they work really well.
Yes, and they become probably more reliable than they were back when the question was written. Because when the question was written, I suspect that certain communication programs weren't as common as they are today. But after 2020, such things have been pretty much ubiquitous.
Yeah. Kind of made it necessary for everybody in like all professions and every other situation to have them. So
Right. So I have a feeling
that has
that
helped
that question is
gamers
probably going to
everywhere.
rarely. Yes, yes, it helped gamers everywhere. Yes. We now have the tech. So it might be possible that there are some groups that might want to communicate on Teams instead of Discord, but in gaming, I've not run into for things outside of gaming. I've run into quite a bit, but in gaming, I almost never run into people who want to use anything other than Discord. Because let's face it, if the majority are using Discord and Discord is free, then why try anything else? Because that way you have only one program that you need in order to reach just about every gamer. So you have a
It's
tendency
true.
for people going to the back before then there were 2 or 3 programs that were vying with each other before Discord came along. One of them was TeamSpeak, and I can't even remember the names of the other. I think one was called Mumble or something like that, which I don't think I really ever used. But there was one other one which I think was around, which even predates TeamSpeak, but was still around stuff like this. But I can't even remember what their name was onto it. But in the end, if you have people playing a large number of games, communicating with a large number of grade groups and stuff like this, people are going to be settling on one program. Otherwise, people have to maintain 3 different programs and keep on forgetting which one they're supposed to use for which event.
Yeah.
All right. Is it possible to play LOTRO without using any voice programs at all?
It absolutely is.
It is?
It is, but it works best if you're playing by yourself.
It helps if you're playing solo when you're doing it.
Or if you're sitting in the same room as the person you're playing with.
Well, yes, that also helps if under that circumstance you usually don't have to worry about. If you're talking about 2 people who are remotely connected to each other, or you're in a large group where they're all trying to run the same event, stuff like this, you might be able to get some limited communication by using the keyboard, using the chat windows, and Some people do use that under certain circumstances, but I do see that's less and less common for people to be using chat than it was back when this question was written.
Yeah.
I know, for example, when we started having, I'm trying to think about 6 years ago, was it maybe, when we were running the field trips. The field trips were switched to switched to Discord. I would say probably around the time of the not the most recent eclipse, but the eclipse before that is I know I'm trying to think about when I try to pin down the times on these things like this is I think we swapped around to that around the time of that first eclipse is when I'm thinking about it. That was which was 7 years before the most recent eclipse.
Sure.
And when I'm saying the most recent eclipse, I meant the most recent eclipse in the United States. It's like, yes, I know that there was an eclipse a couple of days ago in the UK, but I meant the most recent way because we had this thing where we had two eclipses, only 7 years apart that reached out to various parts of the United States. So and I remember it was around the time of the first one about the time when we came over into Discord and started using that. Okay,
Makes sense.
when you use third-party communication programs, do you use overlay features? Never.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, I don't need anything to distract me.
I
Yeah,
do.
Aha!
I sometimes use overlay
yeah.
features.
You might have
It depends.
Yeah, if you can't switch back and forth, and you need to be able to look at your stuff, and you can't exit Alt Tab out, then and you don't have a second screen, then I can see why an overlay feature may be very important to you. Is that the reason why you use it, Senders?
Well, I don't use it that in depth, so it'll give me like a little list of all of the people in the voice chat on
Yeah.
the left hand side of my screen, just kind of lightly overlaid over whatever game. And then whoever's talking, it lights up around it. And so I don't have to like alt tab out to go look and see whose voice it is. And I find that really helpful in situations like raids or if I'm playing with people that I don't know, like when we do um the PvP run in ESO, things like that. It helps me kind of keep track of who's talking when. So that I
And I
can
could see,
adequately
like,
interact with them because it's embarrassing when you mess people up. And I find it's really really helpful in the field trip because I don't do it super often, and sometimes I confuse Finn and Xerox, their voices if I haven't heard them recently, and so it's nice to be able to see both of them there and get the right person. I don't know. Or when you have
I
Finn
could
and
see
Finneor in the same group.
it being pretty useful if, or pretty not as useful if you had two screens that you could look at.
Yes. Right, because I have two screens, which is why I never use overlays because the necessity of the overlays is a lot less, and I don't like having my game real estate having distracting stuff on them. And I know that there's some people who like to have a huge number of add-ons onto there. Now, I do actually have more add-ons in LOTRO than in any other game I ever play, but I tend to place them where I want them, stuff like this. Overlays, I think, would be just one extra thing that's not going to add anything because I have an extra screen in which to put all that other stuff.
I say, and I also use the overlays like when we're playing and one of you guys drops into chat, and I'm like, "Oh, hello, so and so." The only reason I know for sure who dropped in is because I have the overlay that pops up with your name.
Right.
I know you all thought I was just clairvoyant or whatever, but
No, because I usually just look at my other
Pine
screen
Leaf can
and look
usually
at
see.
what.
He just has 2 screens.
yep.
Yes. All right. So, and what is an overlay feature? That's a rather strange follow-up, considering that you asked to use them in the first place.
I think that was just in case like people aren't familiar with this term. And the overlay feature basically just gives a semi-transparent information view over the top of whatever's actually on your screen. So, like if you're on a laptop and you've got the overlay enabled, like Cinder says, it's got just a little list of players with their little icon next to it.
You can
Who are
add more
in your-
stuff.
You could add more
often
stuff?
The default, and I don't need more than that because I just am worried about who I'm talking to.
But like mine will have, like if I were looking at an overlay in game right now, it'd have just a little icon with Krister, Pineleaf, Cinders, and myself with our names next to them, and then it lights up when one of us is talking. That person lights up, and if we're not talking, then it's all just semi-transparent. You can barely tell it's there.
Okay.
And you could add more information to it, I think.
Yeah.
But
And I think that answers the last question, which was, what do they add to your screen? Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And
that's it.
and so you skip the how do you set those up, and the answer for me is it's often a prompt as you're opening the game. It'll be like, would you like to run the Discord overlay?
Right. And my usual response to questions like that is, don't ask me again.
Yeah.
But if you want to or want to try it, you can say yes, and it'll do it that way. Or you can look through the settings, and there's a setting with overlay that will let you set that up.
And that's it for the new player question for this week. So,
Oh, it'll also let you turn it off should you have accidentally set it up, or set it up when you only had one monitor and now have 2. Just for
Yeah.
the record, you're not stuck with it forever.
Thank goodness. That's it for our new player question. Let's head into our week in LOTRO. Krister, what have you been up to?
Well, I decided to go party at the party tree. It was a lot of fun. And I wasn't hallucinating, and I didn't get drunk with my friend at Winterhome. I saw somebody flying, and I managed to get a picture of it.
You got a
I
picture
posted
of
that
it.
picture for you guys to see that I wasn't having a problem with myself.
Are you okay with us downloading it and adding it to the show?
Yeah, oh yeah, I don't care. I don't know if the people whose names are in it would want their name.
Well,
But yeah, it was pretty funny to
we
see this
might be
guy
able to
flying across
fix
the sky.
I'll take a look at it before we do anything like that.
Okay, yeah, but it
And
was
see
pretty
if we
funny
can-
seeing the guy flying across the sky while I was over there. And then played a little bit of Helldivers and a little bit of ESO. What, Cinders, what were you up to?
I played a lot of Power World with Pineleaf and Sanswinda. I did patch Lotro, and I also went to my grandmother's house and gathered cabbage and rhubarb to experiment with recipes from Lotro with real freshly grown cabbage and rhubarb. So we'll see what I come up with this next week. How was your week, Sans?
In Lotro this week, I skirmished with Pineleaf very responsibly, at least as responsibly as we can skirmish with 4 people.
yes.
Um, and that was pretty fun. Dusted off a Bjorning, and was enjoying the range of things I could do in bear form, and the fact that it didn't keep popping me out to human form, which was pretty nice. And yeah, I felt very OP, though I did die once because I stopped paying attention to my health, and that was unwise near a Leadfoot brute. But that was pretty fun. And I played some ESO with friends this week and played lots of Power World, and I'm really enjoying my Jet Dragon mount. So that's pretty much my week. How was your week, Pineleaf?
That dragon mount.
Yeah, it's like a speedy flying mount. It's pretty cool. I'll show you.
Oh, okay. I'm just imagining this cross between a dragon and a squid.
I think it's better than that.
A squaggin.
A squaggin. Well, what I did this weekend, the Harn Traveler group, we got together and we're still not all at 82. So we ran the Great Barrow instances. So we ran all three of those, which in order to run the last one, we had to run all three of them because I think none of us had the key. So we ran the first two, we ran the maze and then Thardur, got the key, then we were able to run Sammy and successfully handled that. And for the field trip, we returned to some old characters. In my case, it was a hunter. I was trying to remember what line I was playing it in it. I have a feeling that hunter was originally in Red Line as an experiment or something like that because the name of the character was Pine Pew and the name of the tab for my skill layout was Pew Pew. So I was really in a weird mood when I did that instead of you saying instead like damage or healing or tanking or trapping or whatever. So Pew Pew assumed that, but I decided to run this character under blue instead. My traits were all reset, which is why I had no idea what line I was in before because traits had been reset since the last time I had played that character. So I went and put the character into blue line. So far, so good. But it's hard to tell because I don't think I'm up to a point where I'm actually properly taking advantage of what blue line has to offer because I'm not used to running blue
Or
line.
you'll get there, Pineleaf. Well, if you play more on that
If I
character,
play more.
which is
Well,
potentially unlikely. But you know.
which is essentially on who knows the next time we'll play these characters. Yeah. And that was my week in LOTRO. We currently have 12 supporters on Patreon, and if you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, you go to the Nations page to support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money will be used for podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. And a special thanks to our newest patron, Tobald of Glamdring. If you have any feedback you would like to give us, you can send us an email to podcast@loachplayers.com. The Players Alliance has two shows at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We have Loach Players News, and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. You guys choose for our shows at loachplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Pine Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.